Hello everyone, Patricius Jiwandono here. Today I'm going to talk about grammar. I'm going to talk about typical mistakes with some words. Those words are even though, and should, advise, and also I would like also to discuss a bit about embedded question. These are the typical mistakes that many of my students have been making. And hopefully by making this video, I remind them of those mistakes and I encourage them to learn these patterns or to learn this video in order not to make the same mistakes again. Okay, let's dive into my PowerPoint slides. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is our topic for today, typical mistakes with some words. I'm going to show you the word which is often used incorrectly, and that word is even. Even in Indonesian language is bahkan. And many times my students confuse it with even though, which means a different thing. Even though means walaupun, same as although. Okay, so even and even though are different. Do not confuse the two. Okay, let me give you an example. The virus cannot attack us even we go to various places. Now this is wrong because even here is used instead of even though. Actually you can feel that it is wrong when you translate it into Indonesian language. Virus itu tidak bisa menyerang kami, bahkan kami pergi ke tempat-tempat yang bermacam-macam. It doesn't make sense, right? When you say bahkan here. You have to say walaupun. Okay, not bahkan, because if you write even, then it means bahkan, and it just doesn't add up, just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so what is the correct one? This one is the correct one. The virus cannot attack us even though we go to various places. Now this one is correct. If you translate it into Indonesian, it makes sense. Virus itu tidak bisa menyerang kami walaupun kami pergi ke tempat-tempat yang bermacam-macam. Now this is correct. Even though, walaupun, meskipun, not even. Yeah. Now what is the correct use of the word even? This one shows the correct use. During the pandemic, even the strongest persons prefer to stay at home. Again, if you translate it into Indonesian language, it makes sense. Selama pandemi, bahkan orang-orang yang paling kuat pun lebih suka atau lebih memilih untuk tinggal di rumah. Now this one is correct. So even is used correctly here. Okay, so remember that even, bahkan, even though, walaupun. Do not confuse the two. Okay. The second form, which is often used incorrectly, is what I call embedded question. Embedded question is a question which is embedded in an affirmative sentence. Now, if it is like that, you cannot put a question pattern in that sentence. You have to change it to affirmative pattern. Also, it is a question. Okay, so for example, this one is wrong. The research objective is to find out how do the characters in the novel manifest egalitarianism. Yeah, this is wrong. Why? Because you put a question pattern here. How plus auxiliary do plus subjects. Now this is typically question. It is obviously interrogative pattern and a pattern for question. Again, when you embed the question in a sentence like this, you cannot put it in the question form. You cannot put it in the question pattern. You have to change it into affirmative pattern. Now this one is what is right. The research objective is to find out how The characters in the novel manifest egalitarianism. Now this one is correct. See, no more how to here, yeah, but how, and then you go straight to the subject, yeah, and then you have the predicate here, manifest egalitarianism. Okay, so this is a affirmative pattern, okay, not a interrogative pattern. That's embedded question, okay, keep it in mind. um, Next one has something to do with the word suggest. Many Indonesian students, even Indonesian lecturers, make this mistake. They would say, I suggest him to take English course, which is a direct translation from saya sarankan dia untuk mengambil kursus bahasa Inggris, which is wrong, simply wrong. Now with the word suggest, you have to say, I suggest that he should, or without should, it's okay. I suggest that he take English course. I think this is correct. Okay. Notice that the take here is without third person singular s, and that's what makes it unique. You have to pay attention to this feature whenever you have the word suggest, and whatever comes as a verb for the subject takes the form of verb one, without to, without ing, just verb one. Okay, yeah, so that's the word suggest. Now let me show you some sentences. I took it from Cambridge Dictionary, all using the word should. I suggest we use burgers as our main suppliers. I suggested that we should meet. She suggested half jokingly, blah blah blah. They would laugh in your face if you suggested me for the post. They suggested we meet up at Mustafa's. See, the word suggest, we, and then you have verb one. Or we, a subject, should, verb one. Yeah. There's no word here, there's no sentence which uses suggest and then uh, pronoun and then to. Yeah. There's no, I suggest us to use burgers. No, it's not correct, simply not correct in English grammar. Okay, yeah. Um, Now probably you complain, why is it too difficult to use the word suggest? Why can't I just say I suggest him to take English course, which is the same as Indonesian language, the same as Indonesian pattern? Well, that's the way it is. That's how the English grammar works. With the word suggest, you have to make it you have to use a special construction, as I have just explained. Yeah. Now, if you do not like that, just use the word advice. Now, the word advice works very similarly uh, to our Indonesian language. It is similar to our Indonesian pattern. I advise him to take English course. Now, this is correct. So, if you do not want to use the word suggest, if you hate the word suggest because it is difficult, use the word advise, which is similar to our Indonesian pattern. I advise him to take English course, and this is correct. Okay. Keep calm and learn languages. Goodbye. Stay safe. Stay healthy.